Jimmie Johnson, a NASCAR legend, delivered a surprise announcement. He is suffering as a team owner. The seven-time champion is facing enormous hurdles. His transition from great driver to owner has been far from easy. In 2022, Johnson made a surprising step. He bought a share in Petty GMS Racing. That choice signaled the start of a new era in his successful professional life. The squad was immediately renamed as Legacy Motor Club. That name carried the weight of Johnson's legendary racing career. But little did he realize that this new enterprise would put him to the test in ways he had never anticipated. Johnson dropped a surprise during an interview at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, leaving spectators and fellow racers stunned. "I didn't think it would be this tough," Johnson said, his remarks reflecting the gravity of his previous experiences. "It is a tough sport, and we have a great vision and have made a massive commitment to that long-term vision, so we're on the journey." This acknowledgement from a man who has overcome every barrier in NASCAR demonstrates the difficulties of the task at hand. Legacy Motor Club has seen considerable changes since taking control, including a switch in car manufacturers. While the findings were not immediately obvious, Johnson's colleagues were aware of them. Kyle Larson, a leading Hendrick Motorsports driver, recently lauded Legacy's number 42 vehicle as one of the fastest in the Brickyard 400. Johnson himself acknowledges the progress his team has made, stating, "I thought last year we were kind of at the bottom, and then we went down a little lower and found a lower bottom. I do think we're climbing our way out now, but there's just so much that goes into it, and we're getting the pieces in place and moving it along." Johnson isn't happy with simply being a team owner, which complicates his new job. He is also set to compete in 9 Cup Series races this season. This dual job as owner and part-time driver poses a unique set of obstacles that even seasoned drivers like Johnson are having difficulty navigating. His present circumstance contrasts sharply with his former experience at Hendrick Motorsports. Johnson reflects on the comfort he once had, saying, "At Hendrick, there was such a comfort knowing the car, knowing the track, and the smaller details from a driver standpoint. Now it's halfway through the race before I'm like, oh, that is what I'm supposed to do, and there are insecurities that come with that. But where I am on this journey, enjoying marquee events and trying to grow our race team, I've just got to remind myself of the objective." Despite these challenges, Johnson's enthusiasm for racing remains unwavering. His continual presence on the track not only fuels his competitive drive, but it also gives great opportunity for sponsors to link themselves with a living legend of the sport. Johnson explains his decision to continue racing. "I want to race, but I don't want the third car to be a detriment to the other two. The revenue we generate can help us use the third car to develop new talent and can help us develop new setup ideas. But when you run 9 races, you need a pretty robust crew to run that car, and that's inefficient for only 9 races. If you take it down to 3 to 5 races, you don't need that crew, but then you're pulling against the numberable 42 and 43 cars, so we are trying to find that balance." However, the truth of his team's present performance became clear at the recent Brickyard 400. While Kyle Larson hailed John Hunter Nemechek's speed, Legacy Motor Club had several challenges during the weekend. Johnson finished 33rd, Nemechek wrecked and ended 29th, while Eric Jones had a quiet day, starting 29th but finishing 28th. Johnson is now dealing with managing numerous facets of the squad, which he concedes is significantly more complicated than he anticipated. He's learning to reconcile his own racing schedule with the demands of the team, which necessitates regular monitoring and modification. "I used to be on a team of really 15 people with the number 48 at Hendrick," Johnson said. "The whole team was obviously much bigger, but our team was so small and nimble, and crew chief Chad Naus was so good at being aggressive, making changes and moving stuff around, that I got used to this cadence of, man, you can just make anything happen, and that's just not really how it works." For now, Jimmie Johnson has had little success in his intermittent outings in the NASCAR Cup Series in 2024, prompting some significant adjustments inside Legacy Motor Club. When Johnson has raced the third car for his team, Jason Burdett has been his crew chief, but that changed after the Cup Series visited Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Following a P33 result, Legacy dismissed Burdett and a few other number 84 teammates. This makes things worse for the team. Legacy did release members of the 84 team, including crew chief Jason Burdett, earlier this week, Pockris disclosed to X. Johnson still will run Kansas, Vegas, and Phoenix later this year. Any 2025 plans still to be decided. As Pockris pointed out, Johnson is still scheduled to compete in at least 3 races in 2024, but his plans for 2025 remain uncertain. It's always a joy to witness the seven-time champion in action, but it's no secret that he struggled to succeed when driving for his own team. Johnson's troubles might be due to a variety of factors, including transitioning to the next-gen car, a lack of seat time, and Legacy's overall struggles, since Eric Jones and John Hunter Nemechek have also had disappointing seasons. Still, Johnson's competitive spirit will not enable him to accept his performance in 2024. Time will tell what the future holds, but Jimmie Johnson and the number 84 team are mixing things up in an unexpected move as Legacy Motor Club attempts to re-energize their organization in the second half of the 2024 season. Furthermore, there are other factors contributing to Legacy Motor Club's current situation. They simply switched to a new manufacturer. They are Toyota's third Tier 1 squad in the Cup Series. However, they are not as closely associated with Joe Gibbs Racing as 2311 Racing. Denny Hamlin has been candid throughout the season about the reciprocal nature of data exchange with JGR. They receive 2311 data, but his team is able to bypass several stages and incorporate all of the Gibbs data as well. That is a major reason why 2311 Racing, in its fourth year of operation, has enjoyed early success. Legacy Motor Club is creating its own data sets. They want to do things on their own, and that is good. However, the growing pains will continue longer and be more painful. Unfortunately, it's a good clue that Legacy doesn't mind shifting individuals around, or even moving on from others and hiring new employees. If it becomes a revolving door, it may be time to reconsider. Appropriate now, however, the team is expanding while attempting to strike the appropriate balance to make everything work. The family is growing, but at the same time, shrinking. Speaking of family, Johnson's new position has resulted in substantial adjustments in his work-life balance. During his full-time NASCAR career, meaningful family time was limited. Now, he works at the track or in the race shop for 7 to 10 days before spending the remainder of the month with his wife and girls. Johnson recalls that throughout his NASCAR career, he would frequently find himself at home alone on his customary off day on Monday, with his daughters in school and his wife managing her art gallery. After a day in the shop on Tuesday, regular sponsor visits on Wednesday, and then flying away for racing weekends on Thursdays until returning late on Sunday, he seldom had meaningful time with any of them. Johnson moved his family to England in August, with the intention of staying for a year. That single year has now been extended to 2, giving his girls a rare opportunity to widen their horizons. Looking ahead, Johnson is fully aware of the obstacles that await. Long-term planning in NASCAR is a difficult process that frequently involves waiting for the perfect individuals to become available when contracts expire. This demands patience and careful thought, which Johnson is still learning to. The toughest part is just the big picture perspective on management, as well as the cycles through the course of a year, Johnson said. Just like anything, this is all about the people you have, and oftentimes good people are under contract. It might be a year, and it might be 3 that you have to wait for someone. So you have to have a lot of patience and a lot of planning. There's just a dance to it all that I didn't realize. Despite the difficulties, Johnson is dedicated to reinventing his legacy. He's open about the challenges his team is facing, with both of Legacy Motor Club's full-time drivers now below the top 25 in the Cup Series standings and out of playoff contention. Nonetheless, Johnson's desire remains unwavering. He remains optimistic about Legacy Motor Club's future and is working relentlessly to establish a squad capable of competing at NASCAR's highest level. What are your thoughts? Is Johnson doing a good job with his team and his sporadic drivers? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.